Well, welcome back to Speaking Llama, a Survivor podcast. Today we have the latest castaway voted out, unfortunately, from the Villains tribe. We have Mimi on the podcast with us. Mimi, how are you feeling today after seeing your episode?
Hello. I feel relieved. I feel like I could breathe again. And the anxiety is starting to flow away.
That's good. That's good. I feel like that's a good place to be. Now that this season at least is wrapped, and now you get to watch it.
Yes, definitely, for sure.
Well, my first question for you, I'm really curious. You are cast on the show, and then you find out it's heroes versus villains, and you find out there are half returning players as well. What was going through your mind? What was your strategy maybe going into it? And then how did that change once you realized what the season was?
To be honest, I didn't have a strategy going in purely because I didn't know who the returnees were. So you can't really base a strategy on that. However, I did say to myself going in there, I know that what might be well received on the outside in the real world might not be well received in the game, which definitely very much happened for me. So yes, it was tough, very tough.
Sure. Was there, when you got to the beach, was there anyone that you were like especially excited to work with, whether that was on the Villains tribe or someone you wish you would have gotten to work with on the Heroes tribe?
I mean, I definitely would have liked to work with the heroes for sure, purely because, as you saw, I thought very differently to the rest of my Villains tribe. It was really actually hard for me to gel with anybody really quickly, unlike, Liz and Shani and Geordie and Simon. So I kind of, for most of it, I felt like a lone wolf. I felt like I had no alliances, and I was just surviving, just getting through.
Absolutely. That's a tough place to be.
It is.
Well, we have so many questions, kind of the last couple episodes, your perspective from that. One of our first ones for you, that very first tribal council and the decision to read the votes and have Angeli go home. We talked to Angeli a few days ago, kind of heard her perspective. What was going through your mind at that point? Were you someone that wanted to read the votes, maybe didn't want to read the votes, or maybe just indifferent to it?
My initial reaction was actually to keep Angeli and not to vote anybody out. If you rewatch that episode, I was actually, in addition to Shani, I was the only one that didn't put my hand up. So it took me a little while, but obviously it was 1v10, I think it was at that time. So I eventually had to buckle because the vote obviously had to be unanimous, and I wasn't going to, I mean, I was obviously speaking my mind, but I wasn't going to, be super, super bullish and really stand up for what I believe in there. So there was nothing really I could do there.
Was there any like buyer's remorse after, y'all obviously lose a couple challenges in a row, for at least some immunity challenges? Was anyone starting to kind of regret the decision to read the votes for Angeli?
Oh, I don't think anybody on that tribe regretted that.
Okay.
They were all quite adamant. They were all quite, they didn't even think twice about, it was the first tribal and not playing so hard. So I think they wanted to play hard and fast, and that's what they got.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask, the camp raid. So episode 2, the villains won the reward. We actually see you kind of say, "Hey, no, this is not okay. We don't want to take down the entire shelter." Walk us through that experience, and what was that like? What were people saying? What were people trying to do? And what was going on with the villains during those 15 minutes of the camp raid?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to kind of have fun, go in there, mess up a little bit, make a little bit of an impression on the heroes, like they can't mess with us. But I didn't want to, tear down their beautiful Taj Mahal, which was amazing, by the way. And I didn't, want to cause chaos because, as I said, you might have to work with them someday.
Yeah.
And if they see that happening, they might not, that might be part of what hinders their trust towards you. So, again, they're thought very differently to the tribe. I think the tribe just went in a little bit too hard, and I had to say something.
Yeah. That seems to be kind of a theme for you, right? You mentioned at the beginning was that you just didn't gel well with everyone on the tribe. There wasn't like a one person that you went to. Who were you closest with out there? Even if it was not super close at all.
Yeah, it was definitely Fraser and George, actually. So George, I actually had a connection with George from day one, but I think from my end, I just took a long time or longer than I should have, to make a decision. With Fraser, yeah, we bonded as well, but I think we bonded out of the fact that the core four, which was Geordie, Simon, Liz, and Shonny, they had already bonded from day one, the moment they stepped on that sand. So you got to make your alliance to somewhere. And then with poor Jackie going home, no Angelique, you're kind of stuck in the middle there. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, we're curious too. I mean, this last episode with you being voted out, the tribal council was wild. Seeing all that happen. Walk us through from your perspective, what was going on? Did you have any indication that you were going home, or, this idea of Simon and Geordie talking to Liz and Shonny? What was going through your mind at that point?
Just FYI, whilst I was watching that episode, I don't think I breathed for a single second. I was like, what is going on? My thoughts. So when I was actually there at Tribal Council, I thought they had put on a performance, because the whispers were obviously going behind me, but I couldn't actually hear any of the words. So I really thought that it was all theatrics, and they just wanted to put on a little bit of a ruse and telling me that they weren't going to vote me out, but at the end they voted me out. So that's what it felt like when I was there. Watching it back, it really seemed like the vote changed 3 times throughout the whole entire tribal. So it seemed pretty legit to me. But it was interesting, the reasons that showed with potentially why it changed so many times. But it was definitely very messy and a little bit chaotic. And to be fair, I don't think they actually knew who they wanted to vote out.
Yeah, we sometimes see that on seasons, right? It's kind of like it's a spinning wheel, and whoever it ends up on is sometimes who gets voted home. So it sounds like, from what you're saying, that it may actually have been a legit live tribal they decided in the moment.
I definitely think they did. Okay. And personally, obviously I'm biased, but I think they made the wrong decision.
Obviously.
We think so too. you need to call Simon and ask him for that idol.
Right.
Is that an idol?
Oh, that's a great question.
That's a great question.
I saw that X in front of the little idol symbol by his name. So definitely intriguing.
You saw George's idol. So Simon's idol, if it is an idol, looks completely different to George's. So I don't know. I would question that.
That's a great point. Oh, all man. Right. Now I have something to keep me up tonight thinking.
Right.
But you know what? I'm so gutted that how could I not feel that?
I know.
Come on. It was hard rock solid. When I saw that happen, I was like, you're kidding. I literally dug my hand in, went home, and there was actually something in there. That killed me.
Yeah, absolutely. So been watching Survivor a long time, and we don't see everything that they show. Obviously you got caught with your hand in the cookie jar, which I appreciate the symbolism that, in the reward, just in general. Do you think anyone else also snuck a grab in the cookie jar and they just weren't caught, or was it really just you? I find it hard to believe.
I'm pretty sure it was just me, because unless they were super, super good at sneaking, because otherwise there was kind of no other opportunity. And that is why I did in that moment in pitch black darkness, is because that was an opening that I saw. And also Geordie did say, anybody who reaches their hand in the cookie jar is a direct target. So I think people are pretty scared of that. But obviously that didn't stop me. So
Oh man.
Well, we're glad you did it. It makes it for fun TV for us. And so I think if we were out there, we'd probably do the same thing, despite that threat from Geordie. So
I mean, I think I would have regretted not doing it, to be fair.
Yeah. Have you had cookies since then? Or have you decided I'm done with cookies forever?
I love cookies. So obviously I think I was just naturally drawn to, the coconut chocolate flavored goodness.
Absolutely. Well, one of our last few questions, we always love to hear, like Kaleb said, we know it's an edited show. There's 5-6 days and just a few episodes. Was there something fun or memorable that you experienced out there on the beach or during a challenge that you want to share with us? That would be cool for us to know.
I mean, besides the anxiety that I was feeling for the first 7 days, I guess, that water challenge was really, really a huge highlight for me. It definitely made me feel like I proved myself a little bit being a newbie lamb. But also I think it'd be valuable to tell you with that cookie jar, I actually told Liz that I was going to do it beforehand. So she knew.
Oh, wow.
And it seemed like, and also, of course, at tribal, she'd known up to knowing. So yeah, that's a little bit of a
interesting.
twist.
Did you at all try to like spin? Well, Liz knew, and she didn't tell y'all. Like she knew that I was going to do it and didn't try to stop me.
Well, no, she knew because I asked her if I should do it. She's like, yeah, do it. So I did it.
Right.
And I actually put my hand in twice. And at tribal, she said that she witnessed me doing it. And I didn't want to say that I did it purely based on the fact that I actually wanted to preserve that relationship in case I went back into the game. Yeah. And then if I went back into the game, I would have confronted her. But at tribal that time, I just didn't think that it was right to say it. But ran out of time. So.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, I noticed that from you at tribal. I thought you did a great job of not admitting to it, which I really appreciated. So very well done there. I think our last question for you, you kind of referenced it at the beginning, with this season of heroes versus villains. You were on the villains tribe. Do you feel like that was the right tribe for you? Why or why not?
I definitely think I'm 50-50, as in I could have gone either way, really. I just fit whichever mold you put me in, unless obviously that goes against my morale, which I don't know what that means. But I definitely could have been a hero. Definitely think that my morals are very tough, and I think that I'm a player that I can't go in there and put on, a survivor suit. I have to play as myself. Otherwise, I think I would make more mistakes than I already have this season. But could definitely play as a villain as well, because I think that, all bets are off.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I think the villains definitely needed you to be that moral compass. And so I'm glad they had you there for the time they did. I'm worried about them after voting you out to see what they will actually do. But well, again, we were so excited to talk with you today. Congratulations on getting out there. You played a great game. It was too short in our opinion. And so maybe we'll see you again. But again, thank you so much. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much. And also, can I just say, I cannot believe George listened to me when we were at the camp raid. I was shocked. But I was like, okay, cool. Great.
Hey, you convinced, right? The quote king of Survivor, self-proclaimed king of Survivor. So put that in your cap and take it home with you.
Absolutely. It's on my resume. Absolutely.
There it is.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, Mimi.
No problem. Take care.